I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Thursday Night Live with the Real Housewives of Miami recap. Love and I are doing your final live recap of 2024. This is the last time that you are going to see us live in this year. The next time you see us, we are going to be older, wiser, drunker, richer. Oh, claiming that. I am claiming that. So thank you guys that are tuned in for our last show. It was a good episode. The Miami women continue to deliver and deliver. And love, it only seems fitting that you and I close out this whole shebang since we hate the exact same person. Well, with the exception of Marisol. So you're going to pause on that because I know we also need to discuss the mid-season trailer that popped up. And I know you got your life on that a little bit. So how are you doing tonight?
I am fabulous. I'm ready for these holidays.
What do you got planned?
I'm flying to Hawaii this weekend. Yes.
You said, when am I going to Hawaii?
I was like, am I going next week? When's Christmas? Yes.
I love that. When do you leave?
Hollywood, so this is much needed.
Absolutely. What island are you going to?
Kona.
Oh, God, that sounds great. Like, I mean, honestly, like we were just talking before we went live, like you're experiencing the same weather that we're on. We're at like 55 and we've been rainy for 2 days. And it's just like, I can do rain or I can do cold. I can't do cold rain together because it's just like, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to get wet. Like, I don't want to get cold. I want to put on a jacket. I don't want to risk my hair getting wet. And then like, I'm catch pneumonia. Like, it's gross. Well, I'm very excited for you. And I hope that the weather participates enough for you to be able to fly out and fly back in with no issues. Although if you're going to get stranded anywhere, like being stranded in Hawaii, like it's not the worst thing. It's not though. You could be stranded in like worse places.
Could be stranded in Lars's backyard, child. That'd be
hello. That'd be worse. I swear to God, I would never fly again. No. Hello to all of the people that are logged in. We've got Morgan, Sean, Robo's Adventure, and Haitian Empress. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Like I always say, you could choose to be anywhere, but instead you are choosing to come here for 1 hour and talk your mess with us. And we love you and we appreciate you. So thank you guys so much. Before we jump in, you know what we're going to say. Make sure that you like this video, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and sign up for notifications so you know whenever we come back live. So let's just jump right into it. Love, as we left off last week, the ladies were at croquet, and the conversation of Lisa spending in this new Radar Online article came out about her spending $10,000 on Instacart. You mentioned last week that like you could find some stuff to spend on Instacart. Like we can figure it out. We'll figure it out. So the ladies are still, actually talking about it. They're talking about the finances. They're talking about she lacks spending control. She doesn't know how to make a budget, things of that nature. Then the talk kind of turns to Jody and is like, what is Lisa going to do when this divorce goes through? And like, she's used to having a man, pay for stuff. What is she like? We're happy that she's trying to look at other sources of income with this perfume line, but like, what is she going to do? And Alexa kind of says, well, Jody should be helping her out with her finances. And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll get your opinion on that. Gertie says, no. Jody doesn't need a help. Like, she just needs to scale back on her spending. Like, she's driving all these expensive cars. She needs to get a Toyota Corolla. Why doesn't she have a car in her own name? And this conversation got brought up because, as we know, 2 episodes ago, I think Lenny accused her of bugging one of his cars to try and record conversations. So I think that's what's bringing about, like, girl, why can't she not get her own car? Why is she still driving Lenny's vehicles? And this was hilarious because everybody was like, Corolla, a Toyota,
they say
like
Kia.
In shock, gagged, excuse me. And then, Alexia brings up again that, they're worried about, she doesn't have the autonomy to do anything by herself. Well, Julia kind of chimes in and says, well, I was kind of worried about her at the F cancer. Ultimately, it's going to come down to how she is as a mother and how she takes care of her kids. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust that this is maybe a little bit of a language barrier because where are we going with this? But, she says that she was a little bit worried that she was even going to come because obviously after this big dramatic thing where the cops were involved, it kind of didn't make any sense why Lisa would choose to come to a party rather than be at home with her kids. And Alexia kind of echoes that sentiment. And she flat out says, like, no, what? She probably should have stayed with those kids after Lenny and Big Mama and her arm show up and try to kick her out the house. Gertie kind of rallies the troops and says, you know what? We need to bring this up to Lisa, but how can we do that without her jumping down our throats? I nominate Larsa because Larsa and Lisa have the biggest connection. And I think Larsa will be the one that Lisa will be open to. And I'm like, Larsa has never been known to sugarcoat anything or to be nice to anybody or to have any kind of like heart to heart about anything. But maybe in this instance, Larsa is the best messenger. In a surprising like flash of adulting and like competence, Larsa says, it seems like Lisa is hopping from one situation to another. And whenever I got my divorce, dating people was not even on my radar. I was so focused on my kids and how I was going to make money and take care of them. She says, I hope, I like Jody, I hope Lisa is not just kind of using him to like distract herself. She needs to maybe slow down and really focus on herself and her kids, which I kind of agree. So let's go ahead and pause right there. Let's start with this. Who do you agree with in this conversation and why? Not nobody. You said I don't agree with none of these bitches.
I only don't agree with anybody because there's a lot of glass houses at that table. And I sat
Alexia has the biggest one.
Person, I said, none of you Jezebels are the messengers.
Nobody.
I don't know. Everybody messy. Alexia, girl, your relationships, your divorces, your everything's girl by. Larsa, you talking about after my divorce, you just have to choose wisely and da-da-da. Girl, look where you chose now. So you sit down. No, we don't want to hear from you at all. Julia, I side-eyed Julia because, ma'am, that was an interesting angle. First of all, it's intentional because earlier you said in your confessional, I don't know why she wasn't at home with the kids. That doesn't seem right to me. I feel like I'm going to say something. So the timing of it all, which is why, Jamie, I do see why you're like, it might have been an interesting language barrier. I don't know if she was just like, maybe this is the right time. It was like, girl, no. Yeah. But the timing of you trying to take that extra dig in the midst of them trying to understand everything, I'm like, girl. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of discussion about Lisa. I get that her situation is the most current. But they are tearing that woman's life apart bit by bit, layer by layer, angle by angle. And she a better woman than me later in the episode because, sir. But while they're all sitting down and talking and things of that nature, I feel like some are coming from a good place and some are just being messy and just like to talk. Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, they don't mean well. They just like to talk about it. And then we have the ones that are genuinely concerned, giving their opinions, like Gertie or like Adria. So, yeah. Interesting.
It definitely, I wanted to give Julia the benefit of the doubt because my mind was kind of in the same vein. Like when she started, ultimately at the end of the day, it's about her relationship with her kids and how she protects them. So I thought we were going on the angle of she needs to make sure that her kids know that she loves them, that she's available for them, that all this fighting mommy and daddy are doing, this fight for money should not be to buy Rolls Royces and buy huge condos. It should be to make sure my kids have a roof. And that's the angle that I thought we were going towards. But she should have stayed home with her kids. And I don't know why she came to a party. I was like, that's literally what is the word I'm looking for? Like the most frivolous, like random thing to critique her about. Like, okay. Yikes. Please don't say that later in the episode. And then we saw later in the episode, she did the exact opposite and said that. So I agree with you. Like the timing of it was interesting. And even though if all of us, because I think when that episode aired, all of us kind of were like, why the hell does she even show up to this party? Like a police were called. But it is kind of like until you're in that situation, like I don't know how the hell I would react. Obviously, Lisa has nannies and people that are watching her kids. It's not like she was like, bet. And also, it was work.
And
Lisa showed up for a job.
Baby. She
yeah.
needs a check.
So the comments are kind of saying what we're saying. It's like, look, this was not helping. Sean S says this should have been on one-on-one conversation. Robo's Adventure says, I know that they keep saying that they only want to help, but this absolutely seemed like a bit much. Haitian Princess said, Alexia the bigot wanted to make sure that we all knew she was always a kept woman. And Haitian, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, you jumped from a drug lord to a rich man to you kept his money to another rich man. Like, yeah, it was a lot. Lisa is a lot of things. She's draining. She is a kept princess. That's the one, negative thing that we've said about her over the years. She can be out of touch. She is used to a certain lifestyle, and when she doesn't get that, she tends to spiral. But at the same time, we are not going to sit here and pretend like Lenny is some innocent, like bystanding victim and Lisa's treating him so wrong. That man has taken every opportunity, as we again see later in the episode, to really make this woman's life miserable for no other reason other than the fact that he has the money to do so. Like trying to kick her out of the home. Like, man, you could, if you want to kick her out of the home, you can rent a hotel for her and your children to stay. You mean to tell me that house is as big as it is, and you have to run into this woman every single day? Like, if you could, I would stay in that and I wouldn't see another soul. I could actively not see another human being if I stayed in a house that big. Hell, when I was with my ex the last 6 months of my life, we stayed in a 1-bedroom apartment. I actively didn't have to see that man for 3 or 4 days. So, like, I know you can make it work. So, yeah.
It can be done.
It can be done. You got to put your mind to it. So after they gossip about Lisa's chaos in her life, the ladies get up to play croquet. 2 old men come up and they start explaining the rules, and the ladies manage to have their attention kept for about 30 seconds before chaos descends into balsamic vinegar that has fallen on Alexa's breasts. The ladies get up, and this was a cute little montage of them trying to play croquet. Kiki is the only one that made a goal. She starts celebrating. Her breasts are falling out. Marisol says that the only croquet she's familiar with are croquettes, which we saw last week in the episode. People were in the comments talking about. Someone literally said the only croquet they know are the croquettes. So I thought that was pretty funny. In the middle of this, Marisol and Alexia go off to get drinks and they have a conversation. And Marisol brings up the conversation at dinner the night before where Julia is basically letting her know that your man says that you are a psycho. And Marisol expresses, I didn't like how Julia did that. Yeah, we're trying to be good and we're trying to be cool, but I can't lie and pretend like I don't feel a way about this. I feel a way that you randomly are bringing up, and it feels like you're throwing in my face like, oh, I know your ex and he's talking poorly about you. And to nobody's surprise, Alexia does not have Marisol's back in the least bit. She's telling her, you're overreacting. I don't think what Julia said was wrong, blah, 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 blah. Marisol does get mad. Marisol is saying, you're not having my back. You're not listening to me. I don't think that was cool. I need you to at least hear me and say that, okay, that is kind of a shitty thing that she did. And Alexia says, well, I don't think it was that bad. To which Marisol finally is just like, you know what? Let's just dead this. I don't want to talk about it. And in her confessional, she says, I feel like everybody else gets a chance to express how they feel, but somehow whenever I say it, I get shut down or I'm the bad guy on it. This is kind of the first time this season that we've seen Marisol and Alexia really kind of get into a fight. We saw in episode 1 when Julia yet again attacked Marisol. Alexia kind of sided with Julia and was like, yeah, bro, you kind of stir the pot a little bit. So the ladies converge for, that's the next scene. So this ends there. 1, if you've watched the show, you know that Love is not the biggest fan of Marisol. Never has been, and I don't think she ever will. But
I do like cockies, though. I like the cockies.
There we go. We love find some common ground. Make it work. We can coexist.
Yes.
Do you think Alexia was right to not back her up and say she was overreacting? Or do you think Marisol had a point that like, yo, I asked you to shut this down and nobody had my back when I asked you to shut this down?
I honestly think that this situation, I could see both sides, but done in a different way. I think that Alexia's trash as a friend when it comes to Marisol, whenever she feels like it's more constant than usual lately. But with that type of behavior happening, I feel as though there's nothing wrong with not agreeing with what your friend does or how they feel about or how they can handle a situation. There's nothing wrong with being like, I don't think it's that serious. You know, maybe you're, you know, taking it a little bit too hard. You're in a great relationship now, you know, don't worry about the past. There's nothing wrong with what she said. Per usual, it's how it's said because it's Alexia. And there's no real like soft delivery. Sometimes she hits a good point. Like later in the episode, I kind of liked her delivery and the way she elevated her point to Lisa, oddly, out of everybody. So I'll get there. But usually just in endearing, nice, you know, pick me up situations like this, she fails. So yeah, she felt shut out when it comes to how she feels, regardless of whether it's not a big deal to you. Still hear me out and, you know, do see in some capacity that, yeah, this does seem like it's calculated and it seems like Julie is just gunning for me. And why would you do that? And it's weird and this, that, and the third. She didn't want to even give her that. So I kind of do see both sides, but I'm siding with Marisol more, for sure.
I agree. Like, there's a way when you know that your friends may be overreacting, and that is completely okay to tell them, but also to acknowledge that I understand that what you're feeling right now is what you're feeling. And that is very real too. Whether or not I feel you're overreacting, you are responding to something. And if I am your friend, I have to acknowledge that this is what you're feeling, and you're looking to me to kind of at least validate that you feel crappy about a situation, right? And I don't think that anybody who's watched that scene thought that Julia went into that with the best of intentions. Julia absolutely is stirring the pot. She's in her housewife bag where she's bringing up little stuff. Do I think that she maliciously sought out her ex, the ex, to kind of make Marisol piss? No, I think that if anything, I think, Adriana probably knew him, and that's just kind of how they whatever. So when Alexia finally made the point of like, I think Julia just went to lunch and had this information dropped. I think that was a correct statement. But at that point, you had already failed to even give a bit of empathy to your friend who was feeling a way about being embarrassed in front of everybody at dinner. Like, you could have easily said, I could tell that was a soft spot, and I'm really, really sorry that it had to get brought up. I don't think that it was done maliciously. I don't think she knew the depth of how like toxic your relationship is. But maybe have a conversation with her on one-on-one. Maybe let her know that is a soft spot for you. Something. But to just automatically, no, bro, that wasn't it. Sorry.
Right.
That didn't happen. I'm like, it did happen. Julia absolutely gunned for her.
And her issue isn't how many times she went out to lunch with him. Why are you cool with him like that in any capacity? I don't care if you went to lunch with him twice or 10 times. I don't like it at all. That's Marisol's point. I don't care if it's like, oh, it was harmless. They probably just got a cup of coffee. Girl, I don't care. Yeah. Just the idea of that is weird. Like, no one else intermingles with each other's exes. So why is it this seen as it's no big deal? No, it is a big deal. And when I finally get to say something, I do want to be heard. So I am on her side 100%. Yeah, and
Robo's Adventure makes a good point. Alexia is acting like Marisol is stirring the pot without Alexia's input or agreement, and like they didn't plan it together. We've said this multiple times over the years. One of Marisol's downfalls, and I've loved Marisol since season 1, but she is absolutely a yes man to Alexia. She does a lot of Alexia's fighting, a lot of Alexia's arguing, a lot of Alexia's dirty work. She has been a better friend to Alexia than Alexia turns around and displays the friendship. We saw that at Girls Trip last year. Very, very patient princess says she's a lackey. I hate to say it, but she is. Marisol absolutely follows Alexia, loves and values that friendship. And Alexia, we've seen it on the show. She just wants to be the queen bee. She wants to be the one that everybody follows. It's very that. Yeah. It's very that. And because you can see where both Robin and Alexia get upset when you say like, yo, you're kind of like living in Giselle's shadow. You're letting Giselle pull your strings. And I know it sucks to feel that way or to be called out on that, but it's like, if this is what we're seeing, we've seen her fight with Adriana, and now her and Adriana have beef. We seen her fight with Julia 2 seasons ago. We seen her fight with Nicole. She just had to apologize to Nicole for the way she treated her because of the way Nicole and Alexia were going at it. So it's like, I get it. It sucks, but these are the people that you choose to be your friends. And I hope that Marisol can maybe be a little bit more independent. I'm interested to see what Alexia's input is going to be when Anna pops up later in the season and drags Marisol to hell and back, because there is no love lost between the two of them. So we're going to see how that goes. All right. So after this, everybody is gathered for dinner. Alexia and, Adriana and Julia and Nicole are kind of waiting for the other ladies. And the conversations about the days kind of come together. Nicole is saying, and Adriana are both saying how proud they are of Lisa, and how she was very much like in her boss woman, like, I don't like this, I like this. We remarked on that last week. And they just hope that this gives her the push that she needs to be really independent, just kind of leave all the Lenny drama as far behind as humanly possible and make a name for herself. And so Julia kind of lets them know about what the other ladies talked about and said, at some point tonight, we're bringing this up about the spending and the Lenny, and we just want what's best for her. You can kind of see in Adriana's face that she's like, I don't think that's a very good idea. But anyways, they get to dinner. And as they're kind of having their pre-drinks, Alexia and Julia also had a side convo where Julia is expressing that she felt a way about Alexia saying, I need to ask Todd before I room with you. Alexia is super quick. No. I was joking. But it was almost like she was going overboard to be like, no, girl. She even said, I don't even see you that way. It's like, you're just my friend. I'm like, see her what way? Like a lesbian or a predator? So Julia even remarks in her confessional, she's kind of going out of her way to convince me that it was a joke. And I have two choices. I can either stick it to her and continue to press her, or I can just let it ride. And we see, she lets it ride. She lets it off the hook. It's we're friends. We're moving forward. Lisa updates all the ladies about her endeavor. She says she wasn't thrilled with the scents because she wants everything to be absolutely perfect, but she's excited over the next couple of weeks and in this journey that she's going to be able to make a name for herself with this. And she's very excited that the ladies are all there with her. And Alexia breaks up the sweet moment by screaming that she sees an alligator. And all the ladies freak out, and it's absolute chaos. They're jumping on chairs, jumping on tables. The sheer terror in Alexia's face, in Nicole's face. Everybody's running, drinks are flying, only to find out, Adriana, it's not an alligator. There absolutely was nothing there. And all the ladies are like, bro, you need to lay off the ketamine. Like, you're hallucinating and you're seeing things. So once they converge, Kiki tries to make peace. She thanks Lisa for inviting her to this dinner. Lisa says, of course, she wants everybody to be here. Kiki wants to stay longer, but of course, Lisa says, I have my kids. Nicole, speaking of kids, they are wanting to redo the Mother's Day party because last year during Mother's Day was when the whole Lenny Lisa saga initially started, and we need a do-over, and everybody is in agreement. So this conversation with Alexia and Julia, was Alexia joking, or is she covering her ass because she got called out on it?
Alexia is a liar. And I think that was some of the worst acting I've seen in a long time from a housewife. It was so bad. I would have rather her just lie and keep it short and sweet. Like, no, girl, I don't see you like that. You want another drink? Like, I would have rather that.
You want a Coors, you lesbian? You want a brewski? You want a beer? Like,
I would have rather that, than to give the, oh my God, what? No.
Not me.
No, not me, never. Oh my God, oh my gosh. Like, see you like that? You? Girl. If you don't take the semantics far away from me, I was so irritated. I said, she's such a liar. She definitely meant it the way you received it. She intended it. She said it more. First of all, you said it more than once.
She said it like 5 times that we saw on camera.
You said it multiple times. A joke is something that happens in the scene real quick. production rolls the bean footage. We get reminded, you get reminded. And it's like, oh, girl, I was joking about that when you're at the reunion. Saying something more than once, you meant what you said, and you said what you went. Stand on it. She caught you. And I understand Julie is in an interesting position, but Alexia is a liar.
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to lie, Alexia, I would have at least said a believable lie. Like, sorry, like Marisol and I have a pact that we always just share a room on trips. That at least is believable because like, okay, cool. I probably still would have said you were a bigot and like, I think that you just were uncomfortable, but at least I would have been like, but that also makes sense because that's your best friend. But this Alexia cannot lie on the spot. Like you know, when somebody starts lying and they're just stuttering and flipping over the words and overtly nice and very like, that was like very Teresa. Alexia. Very Teresa.
She's the Miami Teresa.
She's the Miami Teresa.
Yeah.
So yeah, that scene, I'm glad that Julia chose not to beat a dead horse because that would have been a draining argument. And Alexia would have painted herself as a victim. Absolutely. And then I think that with the place that Marisol and Julia are in, Marisol would have jumped to Alexia's defense and it just would have been, oh God, okay. Now it's like, okay, it could have gone a lot worse. So I'm glad Julia had the foresight to be like, this isn't worth it. But us, the audience, we see what we got. We see
each other.
We see each other. Do you think Adriana really saw an alligator or was she just trying to cause shit at that table?
She saw it. She saw it. No, y'all, she saw it. I rewinded it and I like zoomed in and I listened and I really feel like you could like hear something like kind of like
not this. Alexia, is that you? Alexia, I really are you lying?
I believed her. I don't know what it was. Her reaction. I believe her. I believe
she said, "Is that alligator?" The chaos. The women were genuinely like terrified, screaming.
I would have lost my mind.
Alexia, what
happened? The production wasn't moving. I would have been like, "Oh, we're
at all."
right. But I would have been down.
But it's also Florida, so like if somebody says I see an alligator, that's kind of one of those things where you're like, I'm gonna move now, ask questions later. Like if someone would have said that in Texas, I've been like, what? Where we at, girl? But I guess it is Florida, so that's probably not the first time that somebody screamed that.
They had the right reactions.
I thought it was this franchise does such a great job of in the middle of like heated arguments or really dramatic scenes, like somebody just randomly goes off on a tangent and it's just pure comedy for like 10 seconds and then we're right back.
Right, like nothing ever happened.
Because everybody then sits down and the laugh is over and Julia starts her speech. I'm like, oh God, already? Like they just served the main course. So she says, yes, all the ladies are happy for Lisa. They want nothing but the best. And I'm like, okay, you're a little long-winded, baby. Let's wrap this. Let's get to the point because
so far, so good.
So far, so good. She thanks Lisa for coming to the cancer party. And I'm like, hold on. What does the cancer party got to do with this? And Lisa says, of course, I wouldn't have missed it. It was important to you. And then this is where it goes left. Julia starts rambling and says that she thought Lisa probably would have stayed with the kids given the traumatic situation. And you can tell Lisa's like, okay, give me your train of thought on this. The ladies in their confessional are like, no, this was the wrong messenger. We should not have nominated Julia. This was the wrong thing to do. Sensing that Julia probably needs help, Alexa chimes in and just kind of makes a situation where she's like, well, you know what? It's about the mothers and it's about the kids and that bond is so important and you need to be there for your children. And Lisa's like, I am there for my children. They were in bed. They were asleep. There was a nanny. And Nicole makes an interesting point. She was like, yo, Alexia's kids are two grown men and Alexia loses her shit every single time somebody so much as like mentions their name. So like maybe Alexia shouldn't be the one talking about, other people's children, to which I'm like, okay, Nicole, come on, Nicole. So Julia said they're also concerned about Lisa moving in with Jody. The kids need stability. Lisa agrees and was like, yeah, like I'm not moving in with Jody as of yet. I want, a home for myself and my children, one that's a drama-free. Then Alexia's bringing up the Instacart. I'm like, can this lady breathe? Y'all are like going down a checklist of things y'all are beating this girl up for. They all express concern about the spending. And the only thing that I'm thinking is like Lisa is surprisingly calm in this entire situation. She says that like, yeah, when these stories come up, these things obviously they trigger her, but like she tries her hardest to not have them stress her out. And Alexia's like, no, you shouldn't let it stress you out. But like, why don't you have your own car? And I'm like, oh my God, where are we going with this? Lisa's like, I have a car. I have my car. And Alexia says, did you drive Lenny's car up here? And Lisa kind of like sits there and then says, yes. Did you drive Todd's car up here? And I said, oh, and that gagged Alexia a little bit because she was like, well, yes, but I'm good. I'm good with Todd. You're not good with Lenny. And Lisa, again, is surprisingly calm and is like, don't get defensive. I'm just asking questions like y'all. I feel like I'm in an inquisition. So the ladies are asking more and more questions about the car, about the finances. Adriana finally does pop up and, say, hey, this car was acquired when they were married. That's her car. Like, it feels like all of you are ganging up on her, and I don't like that. Like, let this girl breathe. Alexia says they're just concerned, and she probably should have led with this, but Lenny accused Lisa of bugging his car and is coming out with all these accusations. They're just concerned, like, why would you still actively be using things that he has, opening up your door potentially for more rumors. Lisa still is super calm, and I kind of noticed that as she's talking, Jody is fine, Jody's great, I'm great. I'm like, oh, is baby on Lexapro, or she has to be on something because
Lisa edible. She was on edible.
It's sure. She probably should come up with an edible line.
Yeah.
Because we've seen Lisa cry. She literally busted out in full on tears when Kiki was like, please stop talking about Lenny. Like, at this point, it's a lot. So she had to have been medicated up because Mama was calm, concise.
She was ready for this trip.
Absolutely. She goes, I'm going to need something.
Yeah.
So in all this mess, Gertie notes, and somebody said it, Sean S. said it in the comments, that Larsa is quiet. It's crickets over there. And Gertie said Larsa had a lot to say in the group chat, but she has nothing to say here. Larsa's kind of looking around and in a confessional. She's like, Lisa is not going to be receptive to this because now we've gone so off base. You're talking about her finances. You're talking about the car. Like, she shut down. She's not going to be receptive. Talk finally turns to Jody, and they express concern that she's moving too fast. Like, she's getting into a relationship too soon. Nicole says, we love you and Jody's fantastic, but maybe, you're spending time to fill a hole that should be used like with therapy or working on yourself and working on your kids. And Lisa says, well, you know what? I love Jody. Jody's great. Jody's nice. And frankly, I don't like the dating scene. I love being home watching Netflix. I don't like to go out. And everybody's like, since when, girl? You're out all the time. And then the nail in the coffin was Gertie kind of asks, Jody is there for you emotionally. Is he also helping you out financially? And that's when I was like, Gertie, that's really none of y'all's business. That's nobody's business. And Lisa point blank says, okay, that's an overstep. And again, if there was ever a time for her to kind of lose her shit, that would have been it. Gertie says, well, everybody was talking about your finances today. And Lisa, again, with the shade, was like, wow, when did everybody become financial advisors here? Which was a very good point. That seems to break the ice for a little bit. But Alexia does say when she was going through her legal divorce, like, she was spending money like crazy. And it took Todd to finally say, you know what? When is this going to stop? Like, I can't support you if you're continuing to fight this. At some point, we just got to say fine for your own health, for your mental health, well-being. And she just wonders, she does say, Lisa, you deserve everything. You deserve everything you're fighting for. But how long is this fight going to go on? And how big of a toll is it going to take on you and Todd? We just want you get the necessities and just be happy, move on. So a lot happened in a short period of time. What are your thoughts on this?
Lisa is a better woman than me. There was way too many hypocrites at the table for me to continue that long listening. After the second housewife said something, I would have just started sniping everybody before they can get anything out. I'd have been like, wait a minute, hold on, Alexia, isn't your son racist? Larsa, your boyfriend, he's like 12, right? Wait a minute. Nicole, weren't you sleeping with a doctor last season? I'm sniping everybody. Nobody's safe. You're not going to tear apart my exact existence. Let me tell you something. I'm very conflicted. This is the Twilight Zone episode for me because a lot of the Jezebels I don't usually like, I kind of sided with, which was weird. Yeah. It was weird. But Lisa has made a good point that no one can really debunk when it comes to this Lenny situation. And it shut me down from feeling as though she's talking about it too much. You're in a relationship, you're dating someone right now. I know he a better man than me. He tired, everyone's talking about. Da, 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 da. She said, the things that are happening with me and Lenny are happening in real time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nobody's giving me that grace. This didn't happen 2 years ago. I haven't been divorced with the paper signed within the last 9 months. This is current. Currently, he's trying to take my children. Mm-hmm. So if you guys aren't going to allow me to be a human being and cry and complain while something's currently happening to me, but we've been sitting on seasons talking about someone that cheated with somebody else 3 years ago, I'm with Lisa on this. I really am. The fact that this is happening to her in real time where she can get a motion subpoenaed to her coming out of Starbucks talking about, we're going to take your kids. You cool?
Yeah.
And then she has to film 2 hours later with Bravo showing up the door. That's crazy. That is so crazy. So as much as I want to be like, girl, shut up. Yeah. She's right. This is 4K, real time, notification going off situation. So let her be a human being. And it's crazy that nobody's bringing that up. Like maybe I've heard it here and there-ish, but it's not talked about enough. And again, I'm sniping everybody at that table. She's a better woman than me. Those are a bunch of glass houses. There is nobody that's going to sit there and let any of the housewives tear somebody apart limb by limb by limb. If we're going to do it with anybody, we're going to do it with Jezebel, which, by the way, you guys, that's my new name for Larsa. I looked up the definition. I have to stop cursing.
Come on, Merriam-Webster.
So instead of me calling her she's a Jezebel. It is an impudent, shameless, wicked, morally unrestrained woman. So she is the Jezebel of Miami.
You make a very good point. You know, I think it's so easy for us to watch a show back that we know is in the past because we're also getting news updates and blog updates about what they're going through. So by the time we're episode 8, 9, we're like, my God, every episode it's something with Lenny. But you're right. Like, imagine how this lady feels. She wakes up, she's putting her kids, to school. She's going to do a grocery run. Boom. A story with Lenny, claiming she's doing drugs. A story with Lenny claiming she's, trying to bleed him dry. I'm getting ready for a party for my job that I took a paycheck on that you wanted me to take. Boom. You and your big mama are in my doorstep telling me that you're going to take my kids and telling me to get out of my home at 10 o'clock at night. Like, that's got to be, like, I know myself when I'm going through a breakup and I see someone's name pop up on my phone, how enraged and just, like, stressed out I get. So I can't imagine sharing a home with this man who just decides that he's bored one day and wants to go in and just start, like, effing with you. Just because he knows how emotional. Lisa is an emotional person. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She cannot hide her emotions. And he knows that. And, a lot of people in the group are saying he's doing things. He doesn't want the kids. He's doing it because he knows it's going to get a reaction out of her. He's doing it to torture her. He's hoping that she reacts.
Drain her, because if he gets full custody, there is no child support.
Absolutely.
And them babies is young. So he does not want to pay her a dime on them kids. He will have nannies full time. The nannies is about to be them kids' best friends. He ain't gonna spend no time with them. But at the end of the day, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. He ain't paying Lisa no child support for 13, 16 more years.
It
That
boggles my mind for men like this that go out and find these young trophy wives who get them acclimated to a lifestyle, who actively work against them working. They want them to be sexy and perfect. And I need you to basically just be a real life blow up doll that I can have sex with when I want, that I can cart around to parties, that you're arm candy. But then the minute that it gets old, they want to discard these women and like, what, you're bleeding me dry financially. It's like, well, I don't know what you want these women to do. You actively have told them that you don't want them working. You want them to be home with the kids. You want them to do this. Like, it sounds like you want a sex slave who does not have any autonomy, who doesn't want anything for her own self. And so I'm the first to say, like, you need a job, you need to do this. But also it's like, she said it later on, men that are like Lenny, that are in positions of power, like, they know what they're doing.
Yes.
They know exactly what they're doing. And if she was the only person that this has happened to, I would probably be a little harder on her. But for as long as men and women have been getting married and divorced and gone to court to try to get alimony or whatever, rich men have been doing this to women. And they're basically trying to break her down to the point, and he wants her just to give up. And I think it's like, it's gross.
And that's where Lisa's being a dodo, because baby, I know you don't want to admit it, but you've known about this for a long time.
You know how he is.
Been stashing some money in an offshore account a long time ago, waiting for the day for him to pick up and leave you, because you knew he was going to. I'm sure you wrote it in your diary. You knew this was coming. Okay. You should have been stashing money, had some businesses started a long time ago. The fact that you're blindsided by this, allegedly, and it seems as though you don't have anything set up, and now you want to start a perfume business that we know ain't going nowhere, y'all. Who wants to smell like Lisa? Come on.
I mean, she probably smells really good.
Stop it, y'all. This is not Rihanna Fenty. She is not Rihanna Fenty. I don't hear nobody walking around being like, you know who smells good? Who
Lisa.
Just left Watch What Happens Live? Lisa. Lisa smells good. You hear that about Rihanna all the time. Don't nobody say that about Lisa. So I don't know what this is. It's cute, then in there around the house, I guess. But anyway, Lisa, I'm with you with the hurt. I'm with you with the grief, sister. I'm with you with the grief. But you stupid on not preparing yourself for this. Because again, like we all know, you saw this coming.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where hindsight is 2020. How many times have I gotten out of relationships? I was like, I was so stupid. I actively could have done XYZ to protect myself. I'm never going to let somebody do that for me. Here I am with the next guy letting somebody do that to me again. So like, it sucks. There really are no winners in situations like this. There really are no winners, because even if Lisa gets all the money that she wants, it's going to be such a contentious divorce, and it's all getting mapped out on reality TV that at some point, the kids or the son for sure is old enough to remember. But then you're going to have that documented and be able to read on the internet all the things your dad was doing to your mom. You're going to remember the fights and the screaming. And it's just like, there's no winners. And I hope whatever money you get, you stash that away for therapy, because these poor babies are going to need it. Like, my God. That's where Julia should have said, protect the kids so that way they don't, see mom and dad fighting. Not like, you should have been home with your kids because you're not a good mom. Damn, Julia. So trip ends there. We don't really see like a resolution or anything. The ladies are adjusting back to life, and Russell and Gertie are kind of recapping the trip for them. And Gertie, apparently it's the surgery is coming up in a couple of days, and she's mentally prepping for that. And you can just see it. She's wearing the stress on her. She says that she is, while she wants to be focused on her recovery, she is overwhelmed. She's getting 6 calls, 6 messages a day about questions about radiation, and we have to do a biopsy, and then we're going to take the tumor out, and then we're going to send it to pathology, and that's going to determine whether or not you're going to go on chemo. And she's panicking. She's you can see it. It's wearing on her, and Russell assures her that they're going to be there together. They're going to do everything step by step. And she kind of breaks down. She gets emotional and just says, like, yeah, these calls came on one day, but it's like tomorrow's more calls and it's another day, and she's just already tired. And Russell kind of takes her hand and is just like, things are going to be okay. Like this scene in the midst of all the chaos, like Russell is such a good man. Like he's allowing Gertie to, he's a good man, Savannah. He's allowing Gertie to express herself and allowing her just to kind of say what she needs and be like, okay, and I'm right here. I'm doing what we got to do. Let's go.
Right. Yes.
So we go from Gertie just to absolute chaos. Nicole and her dad meet up, and as we know, in between seasons, the two of them made up. We saw them the last time we saw them together. They were in therapy. Her dad's girlfriend was supposed to come, but apparently she's got sciatica and can't get out of bed. And Nicole's like, this girl's like in her 20s. Like I wasn't aware you can get sciatica in your 20s, but that's neither here nor there. Nicole is worried because Nicole called her, what does she call her? A hussy, a shameless hussy or something on camera. Mama. A hoochie mama. And she's like, I want to say, hopefully she didn't see that episode, but I think that she's mad at me. And the dad's like, no, she's not mad. She's got a sciatic nerve. The convo kind of progresses. And the dad is getting up multiple times. And Nicole asks if everything's okay with his prostate. He's kind of like, no, we're fine, blah, 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 blah. Finally, he says, you know what, I'm going to have a kid. We're thinking of having a kid or two. And the utter shock on Nicole's face as she's trying to process that her 68-year-old father 69 is contemplating having more kids. And he's like, what's wrong? Are you good? She's like, I'm trying to wrap my head around what we got going on. He doesn't think it's a big deal. Nicole says, well, I'm planning on having another baby. So like, what, your baby is going to be the nephew, the uncle to my baby? They're the same age. Like, how does this work? And he's just kind of like, it's whatever. We're going to be fine. She processes, but says like, I want you to be happy. Whatever that is, I want you to live your best life, but you have to take into consideration your age. And this part kind of, it got me in my feelings a little bit because she says, how much time do you have left? And are you going to be able to be there for your kids? And as we know, he passed away this year, and that they did a in memoriam for him at the end of the episode. But I caught that, I was like, ooh, that didn't age well. But she wants him to be happy and says, I'm going to be there for you, regardless of what's going on. And then she asks him, so like, you have 2 kids, and that what? How many kids does that bring you up to now? And he says, oh, well, I'm going to have 8. And she's like, 8? I know of 4. Where are these other 2 kids coming from? And he's like, oh, my bad. So apparently she didn't even know she had 2 other siblings. And she finds out that her 2 other siblings are 8 and 7. That's the age of her son. Like maybe a year or 2 older. That this man literally is out. So he has Nicole and her brother from their mother, another child from a different woman, another child from a different woman. And then I guess these 2 were from different women as well. And Nicole is like, who are these people? And I felt genuinely bad for her because you could see like all of that trauma and stuff is coming back. And she's like, okay, I'm proud of her because Nicole that we saw last year, the year before, probably would have cussed him out or got up and left. Therapy is doing her wonders because she's like, okay, I'm processing. I'm wrapping my head around this information. Okay. At least they leave that on kind of a positive note. And I'm kind of glad that they did because obviously we find out her father passed away just a few months later. So before we get into this final scene, what do you have to say about these 2 vastly different conversations?
Gertie, my heart beats every time for her. Can we just talk about the fashions real quick? How beautiful is she in that yellow?
Her hair, just like messy, kind of off to the side, like the bedhead look. Nicole literally is one of the most effortlessly, just like beautiful women. Like her, Gertie, and Kiki, just like, even when Gertie doesn't have any makeup, I was like, your face really is just like pretty perfect. And you just got a face.
Kiki's dressed at the dinner with the V drop.
Yes.
Cute. I love it. Swoop with the high.
I love it.
I love Miami fashions. Gertie has my heart always and forever. I mean, she looks so beautiful on Watch What Happens Live recently too with stupid Dorit. But Gertie looked amazing. I love Gertie. She's one of my favorite castmates. I love her marriage, her husband, her kids are adorable. I just want the best for her. And it's so beyond brave for her to even let us on this journey. You know, she could have easily opted out of this season. I would have been like, that was the last episode y'all gonna see me on. The moment I got diagnosed, I'm out. I'll see you guys in a season or two. This is real life. This ain't about no show. I'm financially sound. I don't need this. I don't know. It takes so much courage to do what she's doing. And I just love everything about that. Her dad.
That man is trying Nicole's patience every time they have a conversation.
There's moments on this show that make me realize that, you know what, God really is still working on me, because when I tell you, I probably would have threw the appetizer in my dad's lap and left and blocked him for 2 weeks. There's no way you're going to casually spring up siblings that I don't know about in the same conversation of you saying you want to start having more of them things. And the way you slid it in, I even wrote it down.
Slick.
He said,
so slick.
He said, prostate's great. I'm going to have kids soon. 2, not 1. I said, how extreme is he? The way he even presented that. Oh, I'm going to have kids. And not just one. I'm going to have 2.
Nicole's face said it all. She sat there just like.
She's better than me. And again, oh, it's so sad. Because he's one of those characters where you're couldn't be me, but laugh at everything he says. Rest in peace. That's so sad. I hope that Hoochie Mama got nothing in his will at all. I hope Nicole took good care of that will, and that whatever 22 whatever is. I hope there's no issues with that. And I need to actually look up to see, has Nicole reached out? They blurred out the names. I thought he was lying. I'm not even joking. I thought it was on some Mama Joyce just saying stuff just to say it.
But he was like, nope, it's this one, and he's 8, and this one is 7.
They blurred out the names, and I said, oh, this is real then.
Yep.
Fascinating.
That
was a very interesting way to end their little sit down. Oh, and Nicole's that girl's lying. She ain't have no monocamosis or monocanos, whatever that was.
Not psoriasis. Not psoriasis. Oh my God. Sciatica.
Monocalos. What is it?
Sciatic nerve.
Sciatic. She ain't got that. Static. Whatever they say she ain't got that.
She absolutely did not want to come to that dinner. So a couple of things that we're addressing. Samara says that she loves this cast. She's mad that they pushed him. I don't think that it's permanent. I think that they just put the Ultimate Girl Strip in between to kind of tell people that it's on. I don't think this 3-episode premiere last week did that great. I think that they really were using Beverly Hills as a way to hey, these shows are also on. It's my understanding that Miami's going to be back to their main show or main show time. If they moved it to 10, at this point, I'd be pissed, because it's why didn't you just leave these bitches on Peacock? Why move them to Bravo only to not give them any promo and to move them to the dead end of the night? I don't get that. And then for Football Cat, absolutely, this is an espresso martini that I am enjoying right here. We were loving about that. And then miss my Halloween. What Halloween mask? Is that shade? He said, Jamie, we missed your Halloween mask. Hold on now. But so yeah, there was a lot. I agree. That man Nicole is a walking testament to the power of therapy. Her dad is a walking testament of the Lord still working on me. You can tell that he's trying, but at this point in his life, it's just this is who I am. This is who I am. You either love me. I think he absolutely genuinely has love for Nicole, but he didn't know he just didn't know how to give her or show her that in the way that she needed to be shown, which is that's and I'm glad that they got a chance to reconcile and at least have a couple of months, a year or so of being a person. Because I was a big proponent last season of just like people were kind of dogging Nicole, like you need to make amends with your dad. I was like, you don't have to force yourself to make amends.
Oh, I was so
with toxic
not on
family
that
members.
Yeah,
Because
I was so not on that. Ugh.
That's at the expense of my, emotional health, mental health. Then hearing of his passing, I'm glad that they were able to at least come to something, because I know she would have beat herself up tremendously had they not reconciled before his passing. All right. So in the final scene, we see that Lisa is taking her kids to ballet class. That little hell demon who mollywopped her last season, she needed to put her someplace to be able to get that extra energy out. And it's actually really, really cute. The little boy and her are running around doing the moves, and I thought it was cute. And in the middle of it, she gets a call from Adriana. Apparently, Lisa had texted her earlier and needed to talk. As you mentioned earlier, love, this is happening in real time. So Lisa was minding her damn business and got served with another motion. She doesn't want to talk about it in front of the kids, but apparently Lenny is accusing her of abusing prescription medication, is accusing her of financial, what is the word? Like basically bleeding him dry, and it's filed a motion to take sole physical custody of the children. And again, seeing this, I was like, this explains why this lady is a mess every single time they get together. Like, I understand this. He's trying to paint her as an unfit mother. Adriana rushes over, and I will say this because I don't think I've said this week. Adriana has really shown that when that lady rides for you, like she rides for you. Like she's been the only one consistently sticking up for Lisa. She's been telling the other girls how she feels. She's been there for her, and Adriana is a lot of things, but I think she is a good friend, and if you love her, like she loves you. So they're talking about the situation. Adriana remarks that, I don't understand why he's accusing you of abusing prescription medication. You have ADD, so everything is like medical. Your doctor's monitoring it. This is the dosage. Like he knew you were taking this. This isn't like some sort of like bombshell. And in my mind, I'm like, prescription medication. Like, how do you, like, if you abuse ADHD meds, what are you just like hyper focus? Like, I don't understand what we got going on. But okay. Lisa, you can tell Lisa's really, really going through it. She's breaking down. She's in tears. Adriana's trying to be supportive, but Lisa's just like, I feel like I'm in hell. Like I just can't get out of this. This man is actively trying to ruin my life. And in her confessional, she says, men like Lenny, with the money and the power, they do this to women every single day. I don't have the money to fight this. He knows I don't have the money for lawyers. He knows I don't have the money to take my kids and provide without him agreeing to stuff. She says, I helped build this life. I helped build this family. I helped build this home. And he's actively trying to take everything away from me. Adriana remarks that in the midst of all this, she finds it really, really crappy that none of the other ladies are supporting Lisa, and they're actively attacking her and questioning her and her mothering skills when they should be saying, what this man is doing to you is not right. Lisa says that she doesn't know why nobody has just called her and expressed their concern if they were that concerned. Adriana reassures her that she's a fantastic mother, and no one is going to be able to take that away, and she's going to come out. She's going to come out on top once all the stuff with Lenny clears. So before I get your feedback, love, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for calls. Feel free to jump in. Y'all have a lot to say. I think everybody is kind of on the same page. Lenny does not want those kids. Lenny couldn't care less if these kids are with him or with her. Like, this man works long hours. If Lenny had sole physical custody, they would be with a nanny more than they already are right now.
24/7.
So this man, yeah. So let's hear your thoughts, love.
I totally agree. I mean, Lenny dislikes this woman so much. He's been over her for years at this point. I mean, anything he can do to pay the least amount of money for the anointed amount of time that the judge gives. I'm going to say that she abuses pills. I'm going to say she goes out too late. I'm going to say whatever I want. I don't care about this lady. Who cares? That's literally the way he's giving villain of the year with the way he's handling this, because to pick up and leave your wife and kids is one thing. To make things worse for her financially moving forward and try and cut her off is downright deceitful. Like, him and Larsa should be together. Just two despicable, horrible, disgusting human beings. I mean, there's nobody else. Those two, that's a match made in heaven, because Lenny is the absolute worst. I'm with Lisa on this one. Adriana is absolutely right. And it is interesting. Why are the ladies spending so much time breaking and tearing her down when I do get it. In the beginning, it's fine. Them expressing themselves about the Lenny thing, I'm sure it's annoying. That's fine. But after the second or third time of her mentioning something that happened in real time, like why she can't make it over to someone's event because the cops just got called, after that moment happened, that should have been enough for you guys to only bring it up or ask if you're following up with her talking about what happened today at 3:00. Like, girl, oh my God, you got served at Dave & Buster's. Are you okay? What happened now? What's this trial date for? That's not the energy they're giving. They're giving, it's way too soon for you to move in with your man. I hope you're watching your kids like you used to. Are you okay? It's like, yo. That's not cool. So it is interesting. I didn't think about it like that until Adriana brought it up. Like, why hasn't anybody called or anything? So again, Twilight Zone episode for me. I don't know if it's the holidays approaching. I don't know if it's rain, if it's because it's raining in Southern California. I don't know what's going on in the cosmos. But for this episode, I really felt like I agreed a lot with more of the underdogs.
Yeah. And I will say, to let the record show so none of you guys can say that I'm biased, y'all know how I feel about Miss Larsa. But she was not wholly insufferable tonight. Like, she was speaking a little bit of facts.
Let me think about it.
She could have very easily jumped in and said, because last season proved that she doesn't have a problem reading Lisa when Lisa needs to get read. She has no problem doing that. But I think she saw the direction that the conversation was going. And like she said in that confessional, she was like, at this point, she's not going to listen to anybody. So there's no point in, she's not receptive. Like, this already has gone so far left. There's absolutely nothing. I agree. There's a difference between being concerned about, my God, we're seeing all of this in the press and he's accusing you of this. He's suing you for this. He doesn't want to pay this. Are you okay? What contingency plan? The conversation should have been framed of, like, with everything that Lenny is trying to do with you, what contingency plans do you have so the money that you have coming in now is enough to help with the kids? How can we help? What do we need to do? Let's sit down. Let's make a budget. Let's do this. Yeah, you looked at a $5 million penthouse or whatever. Lisa, maybe let's not make big purchases while you're in the middle of a divorce. Like, let's hold on. Let's show him that you're responsible. Let's do this. Do not do anything that could hurt you. But to be focused on, like, is your man paying you for your bills? Is your man buying you a Toyota Corolla? That just seems, it does seem messy. Like, it doesn't come from a genuine place.
And for a group of friends that have known each other, that seemed like that banter, honestly, you would expect from the new Housewives of New York. Them hoes don't know each other. So that energy would make sense. Not from Miami. I was like, what franchise is this? That was really interesting for them to just be so tone deaf.
Yeah.
To the point where
I will say,
like, well, I guess everyone's a financial advisor in this motherfucker. Yeah. My God.
I was a little disappointed that it was Gertie that brought up, is he helping you out financially? I was like, that's none of y'all's business. What does it matter if he's helping her financially? And, like, I get it. It's like, what if y'all break up? What are you going to do? But if y'all have so many concerns, there needs to be one or two things spoken about at a time, because asking her point blank who's paying her bills. It's none of y'all's business, y'all. I thought that was tacky. Y'all know I love Gertie. I thought that was tacky.
Good in that yellow again, but that was out of
She
line.
was looking beautiful, but I'm like, I really wish that you I really wish that you had stayed out of that. I wish that you had let these other women who have known her for 10 or 15 years say this. I wish you had minded your business. Drink your drink, and I wish you would have minded your business. Yeah. All right, so we've got a couple of people waiting. So Ronnie, before I let you on, please don't drag Miss Love for speaking ill of Miss Larsa.
Jezebel.
We've got first to the stage is going to be randomly Ronnie. Hey, Ronnie, how are you doing?
Hey, you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
buddy.
holidays.
How's it going?
Listen, I actually do feel like Love a little in terms of it really was like a Twilight Zone episode. And yet I still enjoyed it for some reason. I don't know why, but sometimes when you have the Housewives shows that go from 0 to 100, it feels like, they're casted to perform and create a show. While I think Alexia and Julia were just awful with their questions, I felt like that was the human experience where you are trying to be down for your friend and give good advice, but you insert foot in mouth, which Alexia, for better or worse, this is why she's a great cast member, she always comes at it in a really weird way, but there is love there. And I think that's why Alexia has a hard time communicating, because she feels like, though I said it with love, pun intended, though I said it with love, you should receive it. And she never like backs up and says, damn. And I like the way Lisa said this, I think in the confessional, if I were to say that about her sons and how to raise her sons, like, would she be so comfortable? So while it was cringeworthy, and I'm like, Julia, you've really had a season where you've grown. Like, I've been enjoying her this season, but she didn't need to insert herself that much, but yet I enjoyed watching it. All I can say is the dynamic is a little bit different because there are relationships that go back. And again, while a lot of these women say things as friends that were overstepping, I feel like we all do that too. I'm so bold and blunt, and when I got love for you, I might say it meaning with all the good intention, but I might say it in a way that could be offensive. Not offensive, but like just not as utilizing finesse like I should. So I really loved it. I thought that conversation was good, but also Lisa doesn't always have a good clap back, but I actually thought she held herself pretty good there. I really was kind of in her corner.
Twilight Zone. Like, what is going on? Lisa is calm and dragging people, and like, I'm agreeing with Larsa. I'm agreeing with Larsa.
I don't know about all that.
And you know what? It's funny because I sometimes when I get to call you guys, which is always a pleasure for me, thank you for, having me. It's like, we talk about Larsa so much because, of course, I love her, and no one else really does. And then it becomes a moment of like me proving it, and I'm like, I don't need to prove it. I just happen to really like her. But this episode rather, it was juicy. It had the Dr. Nicole with the father, and that was chaotic. And of course, rest in peace to the father. But I really was into it. And when they hit the end of the show and they said, coming up this season, I said, this is a winning franchise. Salt Lake City, of course, brought it this season. I still got a lot of love for New York, but Miami is just different. I think even the tonality with the instrumentals that are used to change momentum, like, I'll say it like this. When you watch Miami, because I've gained a little bit of weight recently, got a lot of love handles and all these things, a belly, a butt. But listen, you're right. But when I watch Miami, you can't tell me I ain't the baddest bitch in the room. So
I know that's right.
I just love Miami for that. And yes, I think I've been trying to say with this cast, though I'm always Team Larsa, I feel like I'm also Team Gertie. I'm also Team Nicole. It's a well-rounded cast. Shout out to POP, Purveyors of Pop, the production company, because they really are that good. And I got to tell you before I leave, I never watched Married to Medicine at all. And I knew that Purveyors of Pop also did Marry the Medicine. And I was working on a radio project where we had to book Quad and and Heavenly to the radio project. So because of it, I went to go back and watch the old episodes. And now I'm watching all of season 10. What a dynamic
such a good show.
You could say randomly Ronnie was sleeping. I feel like I'm Dr. Jackie. No, Dr. Simone. Dr. Simone. Sorry. Dr.
I see
Simone.
it.
I love Dr. Simone. Yes.
Well, thank you, Ronnie. As always, we mentioned earlier, this is our last live show of the year. So it only seems fitting that one of our longest viewers, who has been calling in the longest, is our first caller of the last show. So thank you so much. We hope you and your family have a fantastic holiday season. Stay safe. Stay safe for the new year. And we hope everything is great when we see you at the top of the new year.
That's right. 2024, we're all going to ascend. A shout out to you two, the lean in general, and all the chat. So love you guys. Bye-bye.
Love you, Ronnie. Have a good night. All right. We're going to go ahead and bring on Miss Sean. Sean, I don't think that I've ever been on a live where you have called in. You've always been in the chat and you've always had such good rapport and everything, but I don't think I've ever been on a live with you actually calling in live. So great. First time for everything. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How y'all? I
We doing
call
good. What
in
we
on
got?
occasion. I just called in. What was it, last night?
Yeah, to Beverly Hills. I was sitting out that episode. It was my night off.
Oh
But
yeah.
after watching that episode, I wish that I had been on because that was a batshit crazy episode.
What I don't understand about Lenny, how can you keep filing all these motions? I'm quite sure you're paying for your wife's attorney. You're
Listen,
just wasting money after money after money trying to drive Lisa crazy. Why
yeah.
are you that vindictive? You've been with that woman for 20 something years. Where's the love? I
And
mean,
what
you
she
should have
do?
some sort of compassion, something. But I do
As the mother of your children,
agree with
as the
love.
mother of your children.
Yes, I do agree with love. You should have been stocking money a long time ago. You should have made him give you a business or something. Should have been smarter. Now,
Thank you.
what I don't understand is it's mostly men. How can you keep wanting children and you don't take care of the ones that you have?
I don't get it.
And for the men that have children, you don't even spend time with them, play with them, watch them, nurture them, do anything. It's just what is it, a status symbol for you, just to see your little seed running around while somebody else raised them. He don't want them kids.
He
Yep.
don't.
He just want to torture Lisa.
Absolutely. I
And it's
100%
funny how the mom flipped on.
because she was not a Lenny fan last season. All of a sudden this season, #1 supporter.
But that's
Flip like
just
a
crazy.
coin, baby.
And for the Ronnie that just said Larsa was quiet, she still annoyed me. Just having to sit there and watch her suck on that straw with them big old lips just pissed me off. I'm like, ugh, it just looked terrible, even though she didn't say a word. But that was not a good scene at that table. But she was kind of calm, so that Adderall must be working.
Okay, something.
And
She didn't.
that's all I
She wasn't.
have.
I agree. We mentioned a couple of episodes ago, Lenny would rather pay millions of dollars in attorney's fee than just settle with the mother of his children and end this. Like there are men who are that vindictive who would just burn through money strictly so you can't have it. And this is what we're seeing here. And it's
But he want that house so bad, though. If I was her, look,
I don't think he wants
do
that
an
house. He
insurance
just doesn't
job on the
want her to
house.
have it. He don't want
He
her
just
to.
doesn't want her to have
Come on,
it.
Sean, we can't do that. We're not advocating for insurance fraud. Well, Sean, thank you
Yep.
so much for calling in. We appreciate you every episode that you're on. You have a fantastic holiday, ma'am, and we will see you at our next live show, sweetie.
Y'all,
You have a great
y'all as
Christmas.
well. Have a happy
Bye.
holiday. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, we have our last caller before we book it. I know we're running a little bit late. The conversation is good. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Make sure you like, subscribe to this video. We're going to go ahead and bring onto the stage M as our last caller for the night. M, how are you doing? It's showing me that your mic is on mute. Can you unmute your mic? It's still showing me on mute. Is your headset, or it's showing that your audio is connected, but it is on mute. I think she came
Disconnected.
disconnected. Okay, so let's see if she comes back in. I'm going to give her a couple of seconds. But like I said, we are not having any Real Housewives of Married to Medicine. We're not having a Married to Medicine. We're not having Potomac review. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I believe, is also on hiatus next week. I am not 100% sure if Miami is next week. Now that I think about it, next week is the 28th. There may be a small possibility that we still have one Miami. Again, we will absolutely let y'all know. Subscribe to us, turn on your notifications so that way you get it. Bravo has been making some tweaks to their schedule. As we saw, they threw on the Ultimate Girls Trip and kind of threw everybody's schedule into chaos. But it's holidays, so we will keep you guys updated. All right, we got M back. Let's go ahead and bring her on really quickly before we end the night.
Hi,
Miss M, can you hear us? Yes, we can hear you. Hey, sweetie, how are you?
I'm good. Hi. So yeah, like I said last week, I still feel bad for Lisa. I don't understand why any of these women don't understand this is happening to her, like in very real time. You know, like she's getting subpoenaed
4K.
all the time. She's going in and out of court for what she said about a year. So I don't understand. They're very insensitive, and I think the thing is the only two women I feel, maybe Larsa, but the only two women that can really deal with, actually relate to her is Alexia and Adriana. Adriana talked about her first husband cheating on her and leaving her when she just had her son. So he was a newborn, I believe. And so she basically was left with nothing. She just like had her kid, that's it, with the custody. She came to America and she started over again. She lost everything. And he was like worth, I think she said he might have been a billionaire or a very wealthy, like prominent man in Brazil. So I think she can relate to that. And also her second husband also screwed her financially.
Yeah.
So that was very public. So I think she understands that, you know, it's very hard for you to be dealing with such a powerful man, having very young children, losing everything, having to basically walk away with nothing, even though you did help build that person up. I think Larsa can let it go because she does have her husband now who is providing her lifestyle. It's not like her lifestyle went anywhere, right? She's still technically, like, I don't know now where their finances is, but like when she got with Todd put her in a really giant penthouse where bought her cars, bought her jewelry, bought her, like, she didn't miss a beat with her lifestyle. So I think she just looks at Lisa and she's like, Lisa, if you let this go, good things could happen to you. But the difference between her and Lisa is Lisa has very young children. She's not fighting for a lifestyle. She's fighting to like keep what she clearly deserves and earns because she's made sacrifices for this, like for her life. She gave up her entire 20s, her 30s. She could have had a career. She could have had like her own business. She could have walked through with half his money, but like she trusted him and she trusted like their life because he got her so young. She was what, 25? And I think, for her, she just can't let it go because she's like, if I let it go, I'm in my 40s. I have two very young children. I could lose these
Where do
children.
I go?
How am I going to provide for these children? Because Lenny's not, if she gets custody, Lenny's not going to give her, he's going to give her the smallest amount of money he can.
Nothing. Yep.
And he should be in and out of court. And so she needs that money to be able to like protect herself and her children. So I think that's the problem these women are really not understanding. This is like literally fight or die. If Lisa was a single woman, she would have been like, I'll walk away with my Bravo paycheck. That money is good money, you know? But she can't. She has these young children and she needs to be able to put herself in a financial place where Lenny can't like come after her anytime he wants.
Agreed.
Also, like, I'll say this. Yes, Adriana is the only good friend right there. But I think if Lisa could articulate herself, and it's not for her to articulate because she's in so much trauma and so much chaos. She can't really think straight. She just has to like, and yeah, she also can't say anything because they're asking her these questions on camera, and she's like, I'm in an active court case.
Yeah.
Like if I say
Active
anything,
litigation,
he'll use
literally.
active. He can take anything she says and then use it in court. Everything
Absolutely.
is
And
evidence
he is the
right
kind of
now.
man that will do that.
Yes.
Yep.
Evidence, and they're
It's
so
crazy.
stupid. That's why she has to stay calm. That's why she got up and said, "Hey, listen, I'm going. There's like there's an ongoing court case. I'm not gonna say anything." She got up and left. Good for her.
Yeah.
I
Good for
will
her.
also, yeah, which was very smart. I do think there's a reason why Larsa kept her mouth shut, because I do think when they started asking these crazy questions about her fight, like, is he paying for this? Is he paying for that? I think she might have clocked that, oh, not only is this bad, but I think it could ultimately hurt Lisa, because she
Absolutely.
also had to deal with, when she was dealing with her ex-husband, there was like, she was fighting for every penny too. And that
I
guy was
agree.
using everything he could on, he was using her social media, he was using her like her being on like keeping up with the Kardashians, like he used everything on her. And so I think
Yep.
she understands that, oh shit, this is on camera. This is not the right place. If they were asking her things like, oh, maybe you should go to therapy, or, you know, what is your next plan? That would be one thing. But they're like, hey, where's your money's coming from? Why are you doing this? This is so irresponsible. It's kind of making her look bad,
Yeah.
you know. Oh,
I
yeah.
agree.
Also,
Well,
Julia is
I'm so
looking fantastic this season.
she
That's the last
is.
thing I was gonna
She's
say.
stirring mess and she's looking fantastic.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Sorry to cut you, but we are running a little
It's
bit late.
okay.
So, Em, thank you
Bye.
so much. You have yourself a fantastic Christmas, and we will talk to you soon. Enjoy your holidays. Be safe. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us. As I said, we are over time, but we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year in the event that we don't see you. We love you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for chatting, to all of our callers, Ronnie, M, Miss Sean, and thank you to all of you guys in the chats. Haitian Princess, so good to see you guys. We've got Ida that joined a little bit late, Miss Priya, Football Cat. Thank you guys. Love. Have a safe trip. You are going to have much more fun in Hawaii than I'm going to have here in Dallas, Texas. But you're going to have to tell us all about it whenever you come back. So be safe. You have a fantastic holiday season and a holiday weekend.
Bye, Jamie. Have a cocky for
All
you
right,
on the
guys.
side.
Absolutely. I'm going to have a coffee for me no matter what. I may not be in Hawaii, but the drinks are going to be in my belly. So you guys have yourself a great night. We love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.